Hello. I have been expecting you. I have to have fun with these videos, these intros. I have been expecting you. Greetings. You've traveled a long way to get to this video. Well, you have. I'm gonna have more fun with the video intros in the future because they're too fun. Start the video off with some start the video off nice and the video nice too, but this video is talking about a very specific topic, is when to give, when to receive, or how to receive, how to give, how to receive. You can't live this life without giving. I mean, you technically can, but that's not life. So you give breath to the earth. Technically, I'm just gonna say right now, you can't live without giving. You give something. You give your breath outwards to receive breath inwards. So that we just started off. Like you started into this world giving and receiving. You started giving and receiving. And the first thing you did when you entered this planet, even before, like, God gave you life, you received life. So everything is giving and receiving. And so you go throughout when you're a little baby, when you are just children, when you are just a small child, you give and you take and you receive. I'm still having fun. I like teaching these videos with enthusiasm and having fun. When you are a small child, you take more than you give. And Mama said no. Well, okay. When you're a child, you learn how to either take. You learn how to give. Your parents will tell you to give more, to receive more. Basically, or some people don't. Some people just don't get taught that at all. Like, it's a cycle. So your brothers and sisters, usually there's some kind of parent moderation of, hey, give your sister that, or hey, give your brother that. And there's some kind of balance. Because if you're just like, okay, what happens to kids who just receive? They're the worst kids in the world. They are, let's just say, they're menaces. Like, I don't know, they're crying, just give them more toys, give them whatever they... It's a child having rule over parents. That happens a lot more than you think it does, but I'd like you to actually use that as an example. How does a child grow up when they're just given everything? Anything they ask for, they cry, they yell, they scream. What happens when that child just gets everything they want? Are they happy? Are they ever happy? Are they? Look what kind of... They turn bratty. They become the world's worst people. So they take, and 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 they're used to receiving. And when one time they don't get something, it's like, like hitting stuff and tantrums and snapping at people, and you think it's cute, or you think it's funny or controllable when they're a child, but they'll get to an adult and it's just like, this is now a male Karen or a female Karen, and they just go haywire. So in essence, it's from childhood. So your root chakra plays majorly into this. It's into this entire video. So what happens if you're a person who just takes and takes and takes and takes and takes? Now the question is, do you expect to receive yourself? I mean, do you expect for God to receive you into the kingdom of heaven if all you know is just to take? And just, because that essentially hurts. When you just take and you take and you take and you take, you're just a leech. But if you're not nourishing your environment, then there's no balance. So you're supposed to take, and when you take, you give. Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give. But you cannot be the person on the other end enabling that. You can't be someone who's... And that's the thing. I'm a shocking person to a lot of people. They're just like, you're mean to me. Well, I parented them when they were supposed to get parented as a small child. Now, that's a thing. When it comes to you receiving, and yes, I listen to my angels and them helping me make the video. So when it comes to you getting too much, a full cup of mud can't receive clean water, if that makes sense. So what's another way to put that? If your cup is full of old water, can it receive new water? What if it's water mixed with other things? You have to dump the water out. So What happens when a forest gets overgrown? It can't grow anymore. The life there is not good anymore. Let's just say that. That's why forest fires happen. That's why God allows that to happen. It's because natural disasters clean. So if you know someone who takes and takes and takes and takes and takes and takes and takes, you're hurting them so badly. And you don't know. A lot of people don't know it. There are people in this world who don't even know they're takers. So I'll get that cycle right back on track. This will stop someone from receiving any financial abundance on both ends, or being able to, because like I said, if you try to hold on to money, that's not the nature of money. Money is to come and to go, but it can come more than it goes, but it still has to go outwards. It can't just sit. I mean, even if it does sit, it's doing something. It's and people are like, well, I disagree. I don't care what you disagree with. I'm not talking about my video, but, and that's the thing, I'm kind of fiery about that. So I'm like, well, that's the thing is, you just have to hold on to it as long as possible. You can accumulate more money than you actually goes out, but the thing is, you're still contributing somewhat. So that's the thing. For people who just take, and yes, I have a boat friend who he goes on a boat and he goes to the boat. One of the angels I was trying to talk to as I'm talking, so he's like, get back to the video topic. So the thing is, if you know someone who just takes and takes and takes, when that person's put in the real world, what do you think happens to them? What do you think happens to someone who's used to just taking all the time, and they go in the real world? The real world's not. They're gonna find a bunch of other people who are just takers, or people who are balanced, or people who are repelled by them taking, and they're going to have a harsh reality. And that's what happens to a lot of people. So that's the worst enabling concept. As a healer, you have to break that, even if it means being mean. And you're not mean for it. You're just being their parent at that point, which a lot of people do need parenting, even adults. I see 67-year-old, 80-year-old people who need parenting still. You are never too old to be small child. But and we're small children of God. Just because, that's the biggest misconception. Just because you get older, I've seen people who are 80 years old who know nothing, who are blind spiritually, not blind physically, blind spiritually, blind mentally, stuck in their ways. They won't learn anything, but they think they know everything because they got to a certain age. Now, you got to that certain age because God wants to keep you here, so you keep learning, but you don't learn, or whatever God has in store for your plan. But these people will get to the real world, and they'll be a menace. They'll be the worst of the worst of the worst. These people will take and take and take and take. And you know something, like, for example, some family members, they got used to family helping them so much, and then the family's just like, we can't help you anymore, or we're not going to help you anymore. Either they got taken from so much to the point where they're depleted, or they decided, like, hey, this is a fine line, like, this is enough. That person goes into the real world, and now they're resentful. Now they're mean. Now they're hateful and angry and upset, and they're spoiled. You ever hear the term spoiled rotten? Someone received so much to the point where maybe they got too much help, etc., and they receive, and now they're full. And in essence, whoever is the one who kept giving, overgivers, and I'm going to talk about overgivers in a second, overgivers are the ones creating monsters sometimes. So that's why you can't overgive. Let's try this again. My phone cut off because of my phone. My angel was trying to warn me. But let's talk about overgivers now. That's the only time I ever edit my videos together, is when the phone cuts out. And that's it. That's why I was looking off to my side. He's like, hey, you might want to check that. Hey, you might want to check that. I'm like, what do you mean? It looks fine. And then he's like, hey, you want to check that? I'm like, it looks fine. It looks fine now, but it could cut out now again too. I do alarms and affirmations, and I have a bunch of notifications on my phone, so sometimes it happens. In the future, I might have to use an extra piece of equipment, but I like using my phone because it's so personal and it helps you guys. But let's talk about overgiving. It's something that relates to angels as well, because your angels will never overgive. So, overgiving really, really hurts people. It really hurts people. You can take someone who, let's just say, if you have someone who, I'm not going to use that example, but when an overgiver, we're going to skip an example completely. I'm not going to offend anyone like that, but, or use anything extreme as an example, but someone who takes, they're a leech. It's like dialysis in a sense, but they'll take, and it'll basically, they'll clean a person out. They'll just flat out clean a person out. So the person who's overgiving, yeah, you're doing right by God. Yeah, you're a giving person. Yeah, your karma's good. But the Lord will expect for you to cut off a person if they're overtaking, because that's a leech. That's someone who just takes, and then at that point, an overgiver is actually someone who's causing the most harm. Isn't that unfortunate? Doesn't that suck? To find out who's pulling up next to me. Yes, I look around. So, yes. Okay, good. So, someone who overtakes and takes is usually draining someone. That's usually, it's an energy vampire. It's not usually an energy vampire. It's an energy vampire. So if you have someone who keeps giving and giving and giving, even if that person has the whole world to give, and that person gives and gives and gives and gives, are you helping that person? You're creating a monster. So someone who, in essence, and sometimes you actually get the karma of someone who, let's just say, if you made it a monster, you're not going to get the good karma like you think you are, because you enabled them too much to the point where you made someone, I mean, it's not technically you, everyone's responsible for themselves, but you enable them to the point where that person learned some habits because they were around you for too long, and that person's now completely destructive, let's just say that, or chaotic. So like the small child example I gave him earlier. So people will act like a small child in public if they don't get what they want. They'll yell and scream at people. They'll, on the road, they cut some they have to wait, whatever. Now they're screaming, and now they're getting into fights on the road. It can mean someone's life, essentially. But, or you have someone who thinks they're a child. This is the most dangerous thing. Someone who has not met a consequence or does not know a consequence is a dangerous person. That means the ultimate consequence might just be them dying. Like, just, they've not seen a consequence to the point where they think they can act however, because they're so not connected to reality. If you were to run around and, let's just say, you were able to just, and some people do, just walk up to people and hit them and push them without getting in trouble. And this does happen to people in certain neighborhoods. Like, they're just able to get away with stuff to the point where they're just like, okay, let's take it to the next step, because that's not fulfilling to them. It's dark. So you're making that person fall into a void of just, hey, this is losing touch with reality. And it doesn't help the person. You just make a monster. So for people who overgive, you're going to make a monster very fast. Or over a period of time where it's just like, and that drains the heart chakra. So you'll give to the point where you have nothing left. Like that person, like, if you overgive, you're going to cost yourself your blessings, and you're going to equal out on vibration with the person you're overgiving to. So don't overgive. Do not overgive. You'll give, and there's nothing left. Nothing. So your angels will never overgive. They'll give a bunch, but they won't overgive, because they know that hurts. A demon will overgive. An angel won't. Why will a demon do that? It's because there's literally a demon of greed. There's literally a demon of greed. An angel of abundance and a demon of greed. So greed never attracts abundance. It pushes it away. It's a very low vibration. So you'll know when it, I mean, if you want to check to see where you're at karmically, if there's a chance that pops up and you're just like, okay, let me be a good person and let me do something nice because it's nice to do it, but it's not overgiving, versus you want to be a good person, because everyone wants to be. I mean, most people who watch my videos want to be a good person, or to be a better person, to grow as a person. But if you know someone who, even if it's a small amount and they take, or if it doesn't bother you, because you might, for example, you could just you can have someone asking you for $100 a day, and you're a multimillionaire. Okay, so you're a multimillionaire. That's it, and it doesn't hurt. It's like, who cares? It's $100 a day, but that $100 a day is hurting that person. It's just making them a horrible person because they think they can do whatever. For some reason, whatever they use at that $100 a day is not elevating them. It could be, you know what? It could be this or this or this, and you're enabling at that point. Dr. Phil would be like, you're an enabling factor. So, and yes, Dr. Phil has some good points as well. He has some good vocabulary on certain things. Agree or disagree with Dr. Phil, he has some very good vocabulary on certain things. Like, you are the enabling factor in this relationship. So, Stone Man. Dr. Stone Man. But that's the thing, and I'm a witch doctor, not a medical doctor, by the way, or a psychiatrist or anything like that. But I'm a shamanic doctor, witch doctor, bone, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, when someone, even if it doesn't hurt you to keep giving, you still have to be like, okay, this is not constructive for this person. This person might need a little pressure. But if you're someone who just refuses to help them, and that person's getting help from the Most High God will intervene and move you apart from that person one way or another, or make something happen to make a rift happen. So even if it doesn't bother you to give, and you're helping someone who's overtaking, you're hurting them. Very simple video topic. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. I know too many people who are overtakers and too many people who are overgivers. So evaluate where you're at. So, and that's the hard. I mean, ask. You know what? I'm asking the Most High God right now, for anyone in this who's watching my video, or around anyone who's watching this video, I'm gonna say a prayer for you guys, because this is tough to know if you're an overgiver and overreceiver. I tend to overgive. So how do I stop by overgiving? For people who want help for free, or people who want help for example, I have people who will message me out of nowhere and just be like, you're gonna fix my relationship. Like, come at me again with talking like that. Like, I'm a little bit like, ooh. But I parented them. It's like, talk to me like that again. Like, you're gonna come at me. You think you must be crazy. You must not. You must watch your karma. It's like, talk to me like that again. It's like, it's parenting. It's parenting. So sometimes you have to parent those you love, or if you really care about someone. I care about everyone who comes to me for help. I feel like barking orders at me, like, you're gonna take care of my relationship. Like, fix yourself. It's like, get yourself together, because that's what their parent was supposed to do anyway. So age doesn't equal knowledge. Knowledge equals knowledge. So I don't mean to scare you guys or anything like that, but, and yeah, I have a fiery side. I have a very, very fiery side. To know the Lord is to know love and to know fear. I'm a child of the Most High God, and the thing is, I'll save you from what I try to save you from yourselves through the Most High God. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section. When you get a custom necklace, you get free mentoring for life. And I'm very nice to people who get a custom necklace from me, unless you snap at me. Then I'll help you more strictly. But from the people who I help, you guys are doing tremendously wonderful. You guys are actually killing it. You're doing wonderful. You're making monumental progress, and you're doing very good. For the people who would like to, and I might put the custom necklace on a different place on the website. You can get I'll move where it is on the website, because there's a lot of people who've gotten custom necklaces, and I love helping you guys, because you guys are some strong warriors. Holy moly. When I mean strong warriors, like sword, shield, armor, and much more. You can also get a Tourmaline necklace from FloridaStoneman.com. I think I'm going to offer the mentoring for life on the Tourmaline necklaces as well, because it's only fair. It only makes sense. But if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.